Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This is Sahar Nafal, founder of the Soulful Leader Community. I am your Soulful mentor and speaker, and I'm so excited to have you here with us today. For those of you who are with us, I just want to say how much I appreciate you taking the time to being here today. Our topic for today is conscious client enrollment, a new way of being in service. And today is the 30th of March. Can you believe how fast this year has gone already? I mean, we're starting April in a few days. Well, welcome to our March Soulful Virtual Circle. This morning, I welcome you, dear Soulful family. We celebrated our 15 years of being in community. Some of you may have been part of our family since we started in 2008 as the Bright Side of Life community in my family room. So please take a minute and write your name and city and perhaps country that you have joined us from. And the first, if you came to the first Bright Side of Life, or if you were part of the Bright Side of Life, I just want you to also put BSL, just to see how many of you are part of the Bright Side of Life community. Also, if you have this is your first time here, go ahead and put down first time here. I want to welcome you to our community. Whether you are brand new to our Soulful Leader community or a longtime Soulful member, welcome to our caring and loving community. Thank you for your presence. It truly is a gift to each and every one of us. I'm so happy seeing you joining us this morning, because the more light workers, empaths, healers that are on this spiritual path, a lot more spiritual energy will flood the earth. It is what will heal humanity and our planet. That's why we gather this morning, to learn new ways of being in order to heal our earth and become more conscious in the way in which we are serving humanity. So let's start with a grounding and a blessing of our container. You could do this whether your eyes are closed or you could do it with your eyes open, but I do invite you to put your left hand on your heart and your right hand right on your belly and just relax. Let's go ahead and start with taking a deep breath and release. We want to call in the highest spirit to bless us and to illuminate us. Let's tune into our hearts, our wombs, and breath. Great Divine Mother, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great Divine Spirit, thank you, thank you, thank you for every single gorgeous, soulful leader who is here today. And thank you for guiding us through this incredible serendipity that you only know how to activate and create in our lives. We are open, we are ready, and we are willing to learn from you, great divine teacher. Open our hearts and strengthen our will, so we are continually rising in our leadership, in our mastery, prosperity, courage, confidence, as we come together in a soulful community to create most magnificent collective webs as soulful leaders. Open our creativity to support each other and those who are looking for guidance and healing. Bless our container. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you. So where it all started, the Soulful Virtual Circle, for those of you who are brand new, first started in April of 2020. Now, these are the virtual gatherings. And during uncertain times, my intentions were to bring together a community of beautiful, soulful leaders who have committed to bringing change to our world, to support and community building. And I invite you to surrender to what you know right here. You are safe, you are loved, and I invite you to enjoy this soulful space of loving connections for at least the next 2 hours. This place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you. Whether your eyes and arms and heart can move against the earth and the sky, the beloved has bowed there. Our beloved has bowed there knowing you were coming. This is by Hafiz, one of my favorite quotes. So the Soulful Virtual Circle are where voices are heard, stories are told, lives transformed, and lots of wisdom is shared. So the idea of this soulful family is about how total strangers from across the world with different backgrounds, ethnicities, cultures, faiths, beliefs can join together in a powerful community that we all foster to and belong. So before we begin, housekeeping, please keep your mute video chat participation open to authentic share. So make sure that you are muted. Your video, we would love to see your energy, because when you share your energy with us, there's a different experience. But if not, we honor you as well. There is no right or wrong here. And we love your participation. Debbie and I will be asking you some questions when I do my teachings, when she does, when I ask her the questions. So do raise your hand. We'd love for you to participate, because the more you participate, the more you learn. So what matters to me most and what I'm most passionate about is to serve you today. Both Debbie and I had a nice, authentic conversation about what is it that we both want you to leave with. It's not about whether you can do things differently or create systems, or it's about you leaving feeling fulfilled, that there's so much value that we give you that you feel so good when you leave without attachments to anything. What we invite you to do is to be as present as you can as we're speaking. If you want to take notes, you're more than welcome to. Remember, this is recorded, so you could go back and even record. And we have some gifts for you at the end as well. And it's been a true blessing to have served so many people in the past years. And now I get to serve you. First, let's do our shared wisdom segments. For those of you who are called to share, there is a question that we would like to put out there. And this is going to really help us. Are you ready? Since our topic is about conscious client enrollment, a new way of being in service, we bring in the topic of money. And sometimes money is a really sensitive topic for so many, especially light workers, especially empaths, conscious community that really want to monetize, bring in more clients so they're able to serve more. So the question for you today, and if you don't have an answer, that's okay. I want you to ponder on right now, what negative ideas about money have you been holding on to? What negative ideas about money have you been holding on to? And then the following question is, are you ready to let them go? Are you ready to let them go? If you already know your answer, what I would love is for you to raise your hand. And remember, this is a safe container, and would love to hear it. If you need some more time, I could share a little bit about some of the negative ideas about money that I have had. Now, remember, our money ideas, our limiting beliefs come from our upbringing, our family. I know each and every one of you already know this. Some things that we saw or we experienced or we heard as we're growing up. It could be from society. It could be from school, right? It could be from an incident, a transformative incident that happened to you, and so that imprint stayed with you. So today we're going to explore that. But now we'd love to open our channels to sharing. If anybody wants to raise their hand and just answer the question, what negative ideas about money have you been holding on to? And Nora will be happy to go ahead and answer. So as you are still thinking about it, because remember, towards the end, we're going to have the opportunity to do energy clearing. So when we know what it is that you're holding on to, I could tap into your energy field, especially root chakra. All right, so let's go ahead, and as we are thinking about it, the negative idea that you have about money, I am going to see who came in. All right. Conscious client enrollment. Okay. Nora is from Kansas City. We have people from San Ramon, Los Angeles. Welcome, welcome. Bellingham, Minneapolis. Leanne from Austin, Texas. First time, welcome, welcome, Rob. Thank you for being here. Michigan. All right, welcome. California. Sebastian, that's not very far from me. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. New York City, welcome. All right, we have from Austin, welcome. Minneapolis, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. All right, we have the question posted. Anybody has anything that they want to share? And if it's not, that's okay. But I could start by sharing with you my limiting belief that I continue to work on. And this is from my father. I am grateful that I've done a lot of work releasing, but there's always residue, what I call, that we continue to clear, and it keeps coming up. And for me, what keeps coming up, when it comes up, is when I'm ready to up level to the next level. How many relate, right? When you're ready to take your business to that next level, there's always this plateau or pause in your business, and it feels like you're going backwards, right? And all of a sudden, everything that needs to be released will be released, but it doesn't feel good. For me, it's about my father. He was the first one I worked with. Now, get this, my father, my family, he provided very well. We lived in Saudi Arabia at the time, even though my family is Palestinian. And then we moved from Saudi Arabia to the US. But my father, we had really, we were like upper middle class. So everything we ever needed was there provided. But because of my dad losing his mom at a young age, he created this thing that money is like his safety, and he wouldn't let go of it. He sort of hoarded money, and it was very difficult for all of us to, get the money. So when I stopped working from him, and I saw him giving my mom a hard time, even though we lived a very luxurious lifestyle, we didn't come from poverty whatsoever. But I saw him. Well, my mom wasn't working at the time, and she would get small jobs. She was an activist. She would go out and speak on stages. She was an author. I mean, she was very established in her own way, but my dad was more of the provider. So me seeing mom and dad always arguing about money, it was confusing, because here we lived a very comfortable lifestyle. Even the relatives were like envious of the way we traveled the world. We did so well. And yet there was always that lack mentality. So you could imagine how confusing it was for me. So every single time I'm up leveling, that story of, am I worthy enough to make more money, comes up for me. This is the limiting belief that I'm working on, so I could continue to escalate. So I'm very, very open. And so it wasn't very long ago, January, it came up again, because I'm taking my business to that next level. And here I am, I'm going, okay, so I'm making this amount of money. I'm blessed that I do multi-six-figure income. And now I want to make even more. And all of a sudden, this stuff comes up for me. Oh my God, am I worthy enough? Because when I worked for Dad, that's the story. Dad really gave me a hard time. It almost felt like shame to ask him for my payment, right? So this is the story that I continue to work on. So anybody else here has, what is holding you back? We would love to hear from you. Again, if not, maybe later you could express it. I know it may be too early, but I like to dive in deep right away. All right. Anybody? No? Okay. And that's all. Here we go. We have Leanne and we have Julia.
I raised my hand a long time ago.
Oh, you did? Okay. Let's start. Marguerite, Leanne, and Julia.
I was going to say, because we had our hands raised.
But
you didn't see the little icon. I think you were looking for a physical.
All right, Nora, let's start with Marjorie, then Leanne, and then Julia. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm 82. I was born in 1940, which means it was the tail end of the Depression. And so I grew up in a house where the two conversations in my house, because I'm Jewish, were the Depression and what was happening to the Jews in Europe, later known as the Holocaust. Those were the two conversations and concerns. And so I think it's interesting that you mentioned the worthiness piece, Sahar, because I think I have a piece of that. But the belief is that it's hard to earn money.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
It is a struggle. Oh, wow. That's very powerful. Thank you for that, Marjorie. Thank you. That we're going to do energy clearing. And I know Marjorie and I work together, working together. So thank you for being here. Let's go. Who's next? Leanne? Yes.
Well, mine was, I guess, similar to Marjorie. It's you have to work hard for your money. It doesn't come easily. And those who get it easily and freely, it's they don't deserve it. So that mentality, and I still find myself now, it's like, oh, well, that was too easy. I got to work harder for it.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was powerful. And also Leanne, someone I'm blessed to be working with as well. Thank you so much. And who is next? I believe it was Julie. Is she here still? Oh yeah, here we go. Julia, sorry about that. Hi, Julia.
So I was raised in Greenwich, Connecticut, which is like extremely rich town with Rockefellers and stuff I went to school with. And so I decided that rich people, I won't swear on your little recording here.
We got it.
And so I still have this.
Mm,
I still have this, even though it's probably, I later found out that just kids are mean, you know? And just because rich kids were mean doesn't mean that rich people are, you know, whatever.
mm.
That was really deeply embedded in my,
Wow.
so I try to dissociate myself from people with money.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. That's really a powerful share. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, when you get bullied by rich people, you automatically assume that rich people are not good. And because your little girl still believes that, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Julia. I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing. All right, we go to Jean next. Go ahead, Jean.
So my parents grew up in Korea when it was pre-industrialized, and it was really hard, especially my mother was the only child of a widow. So she was always screaming about money. It was always do or die, always felt really super stressful. So I guess I have the belief that money is stressful. You have to conform. You really have to buckle down and work hard and conform in order to earn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could feel that. You know, one of the things that I do is when I tap into people's energies, when I hear it, I could even see and hear how your ancestors are so, you know, it's like you're so honoring the ancestors, you know, dear mom, dad, ancestors. In order for me to succeed, I really, really want to work extra hard to earn my living, right? And that's the story that's repeated always. One of the things, Jean, that you remind me of, my dad equaled making money to love.
Yeah.
And if you are not rich, you are not loved. If you don't have a lot of money, you are not loved. In fact, there was a story, my daughter, my oldest daughter was with my dad. He had dementia the latter years of his life, and I took care of him for about 9 months. And so my daughter would come and visit, and she would ask him, her name is Dima, Dad, what are your, what do you think of what was it about? Oh, what is your definition of success? She would ask him. And he goes, success and respect is to do with how many zeros you have in the bank. If you don't have zeros in the bank, many zeros, you have no respect here. And I'm going, oh, Dad, thank you very much. That's a really good lesson for my daughter. But of course, she understood. But literally, that was his way of respecting and honoring people. It's how much money. But towards the end, there's a story that I want to share eventually, how he shifted this by me supporting him in shifting that mindset, which was very profound and powerful. But thank you for sharing, Jean. That was amazing.
Thank
I
you.
think it's Rob that's next. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so I put in the chat that, you know, in the 70s and 80s, actually in the 70s, when I was growing up, my parents were having loud discussions. Yeah, right.
I get
and
it.
my mother, you know, they got divorced and etc. But my mother had to literally fight. And, you know, nowadays, $5 per day, you know, won't even get you a gallon of gas in some places. But she literally had to fight for $5 a day in child support. And so that was really my father was like a, I don't want to say a poverty mentality, but but he worked really hard for his money. He was like a life insurance salesman. He would go to people's homes and his life insurance agents, which were underneath him,
And so,
in
what
his
is
business.
your limiting belief that you have to
Uh,
work hard for money?
well, yes, yeah, yes,
Okay,
sir.
I love that.
Working hard for money in my and I agree about Greenwich, and that it doesn't grow on trees.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it doesn't grow on trees. That's a big one. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Rob, and being vulnerable. And I get the fighting. Trust me, I grew up with the yelling and the screaming, both mom and dad, because of money. And it really affects us, doesn't it? All right. And I see that my wonderful Harriet is here. Oh my gosh. I love seeing you. Would you like to share, sweetheart?
It's good to be here and to see
Yes.
you and so many
Oh.
familiar faces. I came because I wanted to hear Debbie, but we grew up as a middle-class family in a working-class neighborhood, but the standard line was go to college so you can go get a good education, so you can get a good job and you don't have to depend on a man. Every woman across the board in our family got that message. And I'm the only one who has a child. None of the women are married, including me.
Wow.
And so it was and what we also learned is when my mother transitioned at age 62, even though my father earned more money, she was the one who saw that the bills were paid. And so when she died, the bills were not paid and he got in a lot of difficulty financially
Oh my
because
goodness.
because she was the one who saw that the bills were paid. And when that didn't happen, oh, well.
Wow.
So interesting. And I got allowance, I worked for him $1.25 an hour, and when you say that now, people are at you like, what kind of prehistoric person are you?
I
But
remember
that
when the
was the
candy bar
point.
was
You have to
25 cents back then.
earn your money,
Yes. So
getting your allowance.
your allowance. So do you think your limiting belief, what I'm feeling, Harriet, is like, do you think that worthiness comes up for you? Am I worthy to get paid more than what I saw or what I was paid before?
Well, I know that I am worthy, but there is that thing in the way about having to earn it.
Having to earn it. And
Yeah.
not, okay, that's a really good one. So one of the things, I don't know if any of you ladies and gentlemen relate to this, but how many of you here with a raise of hand feels that they have to earn their own money versus being okay with having someone support you?
No way.
No way. Amen. Oh my goodness. I think that's really one that we all need to work on. Debbie and I talk about it all the time because we grew up, I mean, we're all here strong women and men, and we grew up as strong women. I know my mom was a very strong woman. It's like, we can do it on our own. We don't need support from anyone, or maybe our father figure was, you have to work hard. And so we become like the idea of a man or a woman to support you, whichever partnership you're in, to support you is like, it doesn't even exist. It's like, what is that? Because if you don't know it, you haven't experienced it. Even though my father was the supporter, but my mom had to really work hard in order for her to get the money. It's almost like, no, we have to rely on ourselves, right? And we find ourselves with all these beliefs and patterns and limiting beliefs and conditioning and blockages, try to figure it out. So today we're going to do some energy clearing and we're going to learn on how to call in more money with Debbie. This is going to be exciting. Well, thank you. Anybody else? I know I see a lot of you. I see a lot of you are listening, but you're not being shown or seen. Well, welcome regardless. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're open to just come on and show us your beautiful face, we'd love to see that. If not, that's okay as well. Here we go. All right, who do I have here? Brandy, hi. Thank you for being here. Is this your first time? did I say your name right? Did I read it right? Yeah, Bradley. Okay, perfect. Oh, I know who Bradley is. Hi, are you from Clubhouse, Bradley? Yay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 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 ma'am. I love that. All right, perfect. So let us move on. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for being vulnerable, for sharing, because everything that you just shared, it really helps me and Debbie to really assess where you're at when it comes to your money mindset and what have you. All right, perfect. Thank you for answering that. So we are entering a new phase in our planet. And I know many of you could feel the energy that's pushing through. And right now, it is time for us to step it up, to really step it up and do the work. This is the time we are called. We have already done all the work. We have released everything that we believe that we've released. Of course, there's always more, but it's time for us to do the work on earth. We have committed as light workers, empath, conscious people, conscious entrepreneur, business owner, even, if you have a career or job, we have committed to transform our planet. It is time to step it up. We shouldn't have any limiting beliefs anymore, because it is time to share our gifts. And we're continue to release. But I want you to think of all the work that you have done, all the coaches, all the healers, all the workshops, seminars, right? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. What if we just put whatever it is that is still come up, just tell it to you, just pause for a little bit right now. Let's go ahead and just pause so we are ready to move on and to do the work. Because I understand that many of you have challenges right now. Perhaps there are money blocks that you're still, and limiting beliefs that you're still ready to release in order to receive the flow of money with ease and grace. But what I want to encourage you to do is to move on and serve anyway. I often share my story, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, is when I began to do this body of work that I know it's meant for me to do. It wasn't easy. It was during 2020, right? I moved from Illinois on the 3rd of March by guidance. I came here and I was in the Bay Area originally before I moved to Southern California. I live in Newport Beach now. And I was fully guided from my guides to do the work regardless whether there's income coming in, just to serve Sahar. And perhaps many of you here received my half an hour soul guidance session. And I've done over 120 of them within 3 months, because I was guided to do 100. So I listened to serve first. One of the things I want to encourage you, regardless whether there is money flow or not, if you put service first, that's what I'm talking about, a new way of serving. We want to shift and reframe. Instead of us saying, you know what, I need to get the client so I could receive the money. What if, let us serve and the money will come. And that's exactly how my new platform was birthed. Now, I want to call it new because I'm no longer doing what I used to do and helping people create more events or how to get on stages and how to network, which all disappeared during 2020, right? But I did this work in the background. I have been doing this work for many, many years, but I was I sort of didn't announce it. I only did it, on my stage or maybe secretly. I never spoke about it. But now it is time for me to step it up. And I had absolutely no idea how, where, what, but I listened to my guidance. And that's what I want to invite you to do, is how can I serve every single morning? Thank you, Spirit Guide. One of my rituals before I even open my eyes, thank you, Spirit God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything that I have. I want to be of service today. How can I serve? Bring those people that I need to serve. And I have to be honest with you, I am serving all the time outside of my clients, family members, friends, people that I meet that don't know me, referrals that people say, they don't have the means. At any given time, I'm constantly serving. Of course, I'm taking care of myself, but I'm constantly serving and I love it. Just yesterday, a young lady that I know that lives, she called me out of the blue and she goes, I just broke up with my boyfriend and I'm really, really broken. Can you help me? I didn't say, oh, you have to hire me. Right away, I said, let's schedule a call. And she did. And let me support you. And I was there for her. It wasn't me wanted to hire a new client. It brings so much joy to my heart when I serve. at whatever capacity. Now, of course, if they want to hire me, that's even a plus because I get to go deeper with them. But what I want you to always remember, are you moving on this earth with service in your heart first? Are you moving on this earth with service in your heart first? And allowing the flow of money to come by trusting and surrendering that all will be well in my world. This is what I want to invite you to think about today as we move in to this new topic. And of course, as you are consciously enrolling your clients' potential, are you connected or disconnected from the outcome? I am here every single session that I do. I am here to serve you. And towards the end, if it is meant for you to work with me, then it is an easy yes. I don't have to twist your arm or tell you to sell your child or refinance your home in order for you to work with me. It's about, can I serve you at this moment? And then I surrender to the outcome. Of course, you need to know the tools, and that's why we invite Debbie here. You need to know the process of how to invite them in a loving way, not to push or to sell, but to invite them so you could be able to transform their lives. All right. So I understand. I understand where you're at. I understand that there's a lot of energy that's pushing through the earth. I understand that you might be a lot of confusion or some feelings. Every single day, we're elevating, we're ascending from the 3rd D to the 4th D to the 5th D dimension. And every day there is this energy that sometimes you can't even understand. But I'm here to support you navigate on earth. Because I finally got it and I finally understood it, because I have been trained in 2018 when my training for this. And so I get it. I get it on a deeper level. Today, we are going to have root chakra healthy alignment towards the end. We're going to talk about block chakra that affects your mind and your body, specifically the root chakra. We're going to have more sharing time. And we have our wonderful special guest, Debbie Hoffman, who is going to share with us conscious client enrollment. We'll be inviting her to be with us in just a little bit. But meanwhile, I want you to just take a deep breath right now. Let's go ahead and take one more deep breath and relax. I want to share with you, I have my altar here. I want to share with you my candle that I just bought. I don't know if you could see it here, but this candle is called money. Can you see it right here? And it's lit up. And this candle, as it lights up, this flame is abundance flowing to me. I also have other artifacts that I love and crystals that I have. I have a rock that says wisdom, right? Wisdom right here. And my Yogananda. And the reason I'm telling you this, because it's important to have your rituals. Last month, it was all about rituals. So I invite you to go and listen to the replay. And I wanted to transition to wisdom in regards to calling in those that are meant to work with you. So let us begin. Let us begin. I want to say that today's guest, I want to introduce her to you from the heart, is somebody who is very special. She is somebody that I've known for over maybe 15 years, if not more. We have been on a journey of growth and transformation together. She's one of my dearest friends, Debbie Hoffman. I know many of you know that already. Her and I mastermind together. We support each other in our businesses. We hold space for each other. We are so aligned with the way we do business. And you know me, I only bring those who are aligned with my frequency and energy that I bring here. And I consider her one of my dearest friends, dearest colleagues, dearest supporter. She's always showing up. And so I thought it couldn't be a more perfect divine person to invite for you today. So this is my little testimony for Debbie. Maybe she'll share a little bit more about her as I interview her. today we're gonna have a bunch of questions that she's gonna answer, because the thing is that many entrepreneurs right now struggle to constantly enroll clients because they don't have a reliable sales and follow-up system in place. And that's her expertise. They spend so much time and energy and money creating that perfect website. How many relate, right? Developing programs and packages. How many relate, right? Running Facebook ads, but they are not getting the results they desire because they're not following up effectively. And so today, our wonderful Debbie Hoffman, who is the queen of sales and follow-up, she has created this sales and follow-up formula that has generated billions of dollars. Did you hear that? Through her career. And she is a master of it. And I want to introduce her to you right now. Without further ado, welcome our wonderful Debbie Hoffman. And the stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Sahar. It's really wonderful to be here. And thanks for that loving introduction. Right back at you. It's been a beautiful journey that we're on together.
Yes, it is. It has been a beautiful journey. So I would love to start, Debbie, by asking you some questions. Hopefully we'll be able to go through them all. If not, that's okay. The first one is, what really inspired you to start your business, and how did you get to where you're at right now and the work you are doing in this world or on earth right now? How did it all start?
It's a really interesting journey that got me here. So I was, working on Wall Street. I retired because I wanted to be with my family. I have a son, as you know, and I was really successful on Wall Street, but it was a very pushy, salesy, aggressive, male-dominated, male energy type environment. But I thrived in it because that was accepted. Like, that was the way it was. When I came into the entrepreneurial world, I would show up at networking events in that same way because I didn't know. It worked really well for me on Wall Street, so it's got to work well here. And literally, people would see me coming towards them and they would turn and walk the other way. And it was devastating for me because I didn't know what was going on. And this was happening over and over again. And just to back up a minute, my ex-husband was a high-end custom home builder. And when the real estate market crashed in the Bay Area, we lost everything. We lost our home. We lost all of our properties. We filed bankruptcy. It was a humiliating, depressing, devastating time for me. And so I was showing up at these networking events. Like, how many of you have actually shown up at a networking event and you needed to get a client to make, ends meet, to pay your bills? Just raise your physical hand if that's ever happened to anybody. I see some hands going up. Well, that's the situation I was in. And I didn't really know what was going on. I'll never forget, I came home one day and said to my ex-husband, I don't know what's going on here, but I got to figure this out. And all of a sudden I had this aha moment. And what I realized was I was so attached, like I had this agenda to sell and get clients. And people, like, energy is very subtle, as you know, but it's very powerful. And people were feeling that desperate energy. And so I realized I just need to show up in service. I just need to show up and help, see how I can help people. Just show up to give. And I swear to God, within a month or so, people started coming over to me saying, I don't know what you do, but your energy is so good. I need to learn more about you. Like, it totally turned around. And I launched my coaching business during that time. And I went from 0 to 6 figures in 14 months.
Wow.
So I knew I was onto something, right? And I started seeing other people networking in the same kind of aggressive, salesy way. Like, raise your hand if you've been to a networking event and you go up to somebody and you ask them, what do you do? Or hi, how are you? Tell me about your business. And like 5 minutes later, they're still like hosing you down. Like, anybody have that happen? Yeah, right. Like, I think we all have. So I see this happening all the time. So the reason I'm so passionate about teaching people sales and follow-up, which involves how to network, because networking is a way to get clients that you can follow up with, is because I want to help entrepreneurs share their gifts and get their message out like in a big way so they can make the impact they're here to make. And the way a lot of people are going about it, it's not working and they're frustrated and they think networking doesn't work. So it's been an amazing, journey to see the impact that having authentic, feminine based, I would say, and for men and women, we both have the feminine side and the masculine side, and we need balance of both as men and women. The feminine is how we connect with people. The masculine is where we get stuff done. So I want to be able to help entrepreneurs to come from that authentic, heart-centered place so they never feel salesy or pushy again.
I love that. It sounds like you're extremely passionate about helping entrepreneurs with their sales and follow-up. And knowing you, Debbie, every time we talk, you have literally, you say, you know what, Sahar, I love what I do. And I love getting on a call. Both you and I share that we do have so much passion. I tell you one thing, I know for me is when I look at my calendar and I see the lineup of clients. I usually work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and then Fridays is usually my day off. But by request, I do sessions sometimes. When I look at my calendar, I say, oh my God, I have Marjorie, I have Leon, I have my heart expands when I see clients on my calendar. And I know that you feel the same way. So my next question for you is, what are the biggest challenges that you are seeing entrepreneurs struggle with when it comes to sales and follow-up?
So there are so many challenges that I see, but I've kind of narrowed it down to 4 key ones. One is that a lot of entrepreneurs just wing it before a meeting, before a call, before a discovery session, that they're not prepared. So that's the first one. The second one is people tell me this too, like they don't have systems in place. They don't know what to do, what to say, how often to call, and all that. The third one is, and this is where you come in a lot, and I help people in a more practical way with this, is the limiting beliefs and fears and stories that people make up about sales and follow-up that stop them from achieving the success that they want. And the fourth area is one of my favorite things to talk about, and it's one of the biggest, I would say, downfalls for entrepreneurs is that they're not consistently asking their clients for referrals. They don't have a referral strategy in place. So those are like the 4 key areas that I see entrepreneurs struggling with the most.
Yeah, I love the fourth one. Recently, I have been asking my clients for referrals. And you're right, that is so important, because here's what happens. Often 50% of your business generated could be from referrals, from those who trust you, from those that know that you're doing the work for them and transformation. And I think that is so key. Thank you so much for sharing that, because a lot of people also, what I find is, because they have a challenge of asking for money, they also have a challenge of asking for referrals. So again, It's their limiting belief. It's their limiting belief. Thank you so much. I love that. So the next question is, so when you talk about being organized, I know you said that you help people with systems, Debbie, and having systems in place. Can you tell us more about what that looks like? Like, if there is an entrepreneur here, whether they are up-leveling their business, reforming their business, or even starting a business, what do you think are the first systems that they need in place?
Great question. So as an entrepreneur, in terms of, when I talk about systems, it's 2 different things. One is like technology, like software and things that we need to keep us organized. And then the other part is where I come in with teaching what to do, what to say, when to reach out, how to best reach out, like having the system in place that couples with your technology. So in terms of the technology, we all need to have a CRM or email marketing system. The CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management System, for those of you who are not familiar with that. Actually, I'd love you to put in the chat, if you use a CRM, if you have one, put like yes CRM, And if you are you using it consistently or not? Because a lot of people have them and they're not using them consistently. So the CRM keeps you organized. It keeps you on track. It is impossible to keep all these people that we're meeting and talking to in our head. And I remember a woman once said her system was she'd be driving, and if somebody popped into her mind, she would stop and call them. Like, that's not a good system, right? Over time, that is not going to work. So, yeah, well, Julia, I knew you were, I knew you were using one. So this is, all right, cool. So Rob said no, Marjorie, yes. Well, Marjorie took my Power Up Your Sales program. So hopefully that encouraged you, Marjorie, to get the system. All right, so having that in place is really important. The CRM helps you with the one-off, one person at a time follow-up, and the email marketing system is the one that goes out to like everyone. Okay, it's more of a mass email system. The second system we need is, and I'll put a link in here if you don't have a CRM for some that I recommend. The second system that's really important, or technology, is to have an online calendar system. Like, it's really critical to be able to have people book appointments with you automatically, so you don't have to go back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't have one. So that's really key. And the third system, and actually I would love Nora to put the link in the chat in a minute for this, is the assessment tool that I asked you all to take before the interview today. This assessment software is one of the most critical and important and life-changing, business-changing tools that I've used, because it helps you to connect with your clients and to pre-qualify them to see if they're committed to making an investment and spending the time and energy. But more importantly, you get to know them and who they are and what they're struggling with. And so when you're on a discovery session or calling someone after a webinar that you've done, you're looking at the results and you see where they're struggling, and they've revealed their heart and soul to you, so they can't hide what their issues are. So it's been a game changer for my business. So those are like three key technology tools. There's others, but that's really the key ones to get started. And then, like I said, knowing what to do and what to say, and having scripts to not be robotic. I do not believe in reading from a script. I believe in using the script as a roadmap to keep you on track, because you know, when you get a call from a telemarketer, they're reading a script, and I don't know about you guys, but I shut down. I just don't even listen. So you need to be authentic, but having a script to keep you on track has been, remarkably helpful for my clients. So that's what I mean. There's lots of other systems, but how often do you call within, when you first meet somebody? What methods of communication are best? Those are all different things that I, teach my clients in my Power Up Your Sales program.
I love that. And I know the quiz, I took it personally, and I kid you not, I thought I got everything in order. And then I realized, I think I need to step it up here. Like the referral, asking for referrals was a huge one for me. I had a lot of systems in place, but I thought, wow, this was really, really helpful. We just added the assessment. It's powerupbizquiz.com. I just added it. Please make sure to complete it. This is really helpful. It takes you less than 10 minutes to complete, and it will really help you understand what are the things or systems, or, it's an assessment to see where you're at in your business. Specifically, I think for those of us who are really right now doing well in our business, thinking that all is well, it's really an eye-opening. I know for sure it was. So let's pause.
Sorry, excuse me for one sec. I realized I decided to do something special for your people. So I'm going to give a different link, and I'll explain why. This is Power Up Your Biz Quiz.
Okay.
So when you take the assessment, even if you've already taken it, take it again, because at the back end, when you get the email with a summary of all your scores, I have another very special gift for you. So I decided to be super generous, and because I know so many people struggle with scripts that we just talked about. So when you take this assessment, you'll also receive authentic conversations, 3 templates to connect, serve, and sell from the heart. And there's 3 scripts that are for scenarios that trip a lot of entrepreneurs up. Like, for instance, one of them is let's say you met somebody a long time ago and you never followed up with them, and you're about to throw out their card if you have a card, or you see their name on a spreadsheet from an online networking event, but you go, I can't call them because it's embarrassing. It's been so long. This is a script to help you to call them and to feel really comfortable and not feel awkward. So please take this assessment. The assessment itself is going to give you insight into where you're doing really well with your follow-up and sales, and you want to celebrate those areas, and then where potential clients and income are slipping through the cracks. So everybody who takes it tells me they learn so much about themselves, and you plus you get these great scripts at the end. So use the Power Up Your Biz Quiz. Okay. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Later, maybe you could put it on because I don't have that one.
Nora just did. Nora
you
just
did. Oh,
yeah.
Nora did. Oh, awesome. She is on it. Oh, thank you, Nora. We love you. She's amazing. All right. So in addition to taking the quiz, what one system or tool that our listeners can implement right away when they get off this call? And I'm going to take a minute after that question for you and see if anybody has any questions. But right now, just one system or tool.
Okay, great. So if you are networking online or in person, or you're going to an event or a seminar or workshop or whatever it is, online or in person, when you put that event in your calendar, immediately schedule time in your calendar for the next few days to follow up, to reach out and follow up with people. This is one of the biggest downfalls I see when I start talking to new clients. When they start working with me, I'll ask them, how many networking events are you going to a month? And they go, I'm going to like 2 a week. And I ask, is anything coming from them? And they go, no. I was like, are you scheduling time? Are you following up with people? No, I don't have time. So if it doesn't get in your calendar, it's not going to happen. So just doing that, it's going to make a huge difference. If it's a short 2-hour event, schedule a half hour for a couple of days afterwards. If it's a long, 2 or 3 day event, you're going to have many more people to follow up with. So you'll need more time. But please put it in, make an appointment with yourself, and don't let anything get in the way.
Yes.
So don't look at your phone, don't respond to emails, just make your calls. And then here's the key. When you call or text or email, however you reach out, put a reminder in your calendar immediately to reach back out to them a day or 2 later. Because if you don't do that, they'll slip through the cracks.
Oh, and I tell you, I've lost so many opportunities because of that. One of the things, how do you feel about, this is a question for me, how do you feel about scheduling a session, follow-up session with them at the networking event? Because that's what I do.
Yes, exactly. So if you're talking to someone, and again, I talk about more of this in my masterclass that I'll be inviting you to, that's free, coming up in a few weeks. My whole philosophy is going to networking events, looking for people to partner up with, right? Because then they don't feel they're being sold to. And if they're interested in what you have to offer when you meet, they're naturally going to lean in. So if there's a person you meet who's a good partner for you, ask them, would you like to schedule a time right now? Like if there's a good energy and there's a good connection, just say, hey, would you, again, always asking for permission, would you like to schedule time to get together so we can learn, more about each other's businesses and see if and how we can support each other? And if they say yes, you can either give them your calendar link right then and there, or just do it the old fashioned way and take out your phones and synchronize a time and day. But most definitely, Sahar, because I'm all about the follow-up, but I'm all about minimizing the number of steps that you have to take to follow up with people. So it's a waste of time to have to go back and forth to schedule a time to get together. Do it right then and there. And if there's a person that leans in and says, I'm interested in learning about what you do for me, definitely make the appointment right then.
I love that. Thank you so much, Debbie. That's a really good question. And after a long time, Debbie and I have been out there networking for a long time. It is going to take time for you to find the courage to invite people to do it right away. I know one of my favorite networking events, as you know, you and I have been a member for a long time, is eWomen Network. And perhaps some of you are familiar with eWomen. And when I go there and I meet, even though I've known them, I'm always offering, I would love to, of course, I have to know these people. I don't just offer to anyone. I tune in energetically and I know if they're aligned and if they're ready to receive my services. Just pay attention to this. This is the new way of being in service, is I tune in energetically. And I know if they are aligned with the work that I'm doing, then I invite them and I just send them the link right there. And then I take their business card and I ask permission. And I say, hey, Lisa, is it okay for me to send you the link? You could schedule your session today and let's just, have you on my calendar right away. 90% of the time they are ready because they're there and they don't want to they're there. They're sitting at the networking event and they're right away. They just put on the calendar and I see 4, 5, 6 people that are already on my calendar within those 2 or 3 hours that I'm there networking. And so I will follow up. Of course, my Calendly is another system, right? That automatically sends them a reminder, right? So I don't have to do that. Systems are very important. And of course, I personally text them a day before and I say, hey, I so look forward to serving you, Lisa. I can't wait to learn more about you and how I can help you on your journey. This is a very simple message that I put on and I text it to them. So I look forward to serving you, Lisa, and I can't wait to learn more about you and how I could help you and support you on your journey here on earth. That's exactly what I do. And they always respond like, oh, we can't wait, Sahar. Thank you so much for your gift. And so it's again that personal. You first meet them, you invite them, and then you text them. And it makes it so easy. That's why Debbie loves to do this work. And a lot of these, networking ideas is practice. And of course, working with someone with Debbie that you're constantly learning and growing. So now I want to open it for questions. So are you ready to answer, Debbie? Some of the questions that
of course
are wonderful people. All right. So please, again, raise your hand by clicking on the raise hand, or even just go like this. And Nora will pay attention. And Sue, who has a question for Debbie, could be very personalized to your business. And for those of you who are listening, I know many of you are here listening. If you would like to also raise your hand, you don't want to show us who you are, that's fine. Or you could show us who you are and raise your hand. We'd love to see you because I know there's more than what we see here in the audience. Anybody wants to have a question for Debbie? All right, we have Jean. Jean, go ahead, sweetheart.
Thank you so much. I love this. This is amazing. So I am so not having systems, whatever. I started working with a sales coach and he's having us write our scripts. I actually was a telemarketer, so I know about scripts. Didn't think about having one for my business. So I just fly by the seat of my pants, really.
You're not alone, Jean. A lot of entrepreneurs tell me this.
Yeah, I know, but this is motivating. I think there's been a block to actually following through. I think there's, trauma, whatever. So I have a agreement with Unity Church I've recently reconnected there. It's a beautiful new building. It's really inspiring. They're doing well. And they offered me an EFT teach class 4 Wednesdays in April, as well as a workshop, transformational workshop on the 23rd after their service. And they had me write out a blurb for their newsletter. And only one person signed up for the class so far, which starts next Wednesday. So they're saying maybe we should delay. And I also lately, after that, I said, actually, why don't we do it by Zoom as well, hybrid, because more people can attend if it's not at the physical space. So one person signed up. She actually reached out to me and said, what time is it? They didn't say. And I responded, I'm glad you're coming and please bring water, stay hydrated. Felt like a nice connection.
So Jean, what's your question? How can I support you?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Nobody signed up. Why? And what can I do to facilitate this working?
Got it. So you're doing classes on EFT. Is that correct? Okay, great. And how did they promote it?
They have a newsletter that's online.
Okay.
Out last.
It's an online newsletter. So that's the only way that people will know about it.
Then
go on.
I'm going to give you a 3-minute tapping demonstration on the theme of the year, New Beginnings, at the next service.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually realized I want to dance because the workshop that I'm offering is about movement and nature. It's holistic, writing, tapping. And I am a dancer and performer. I've done that more in my earlier career, but I have moved all across the old Unity Sanctuary at a Jude Houston workshop. I was like, I should do that again. Because my human design is all about role model martyr and people get galvanized watching do something. So I want to do that. And it's actually sparking this whole idea of this is the way I need to put myself out there. Is I need to dance and move. and get people, because they get really excited actually. And that's how I need to draw people in.
Well, I think what you just mentioned, I think I understood that you're going to be doing a 3-minute, like kind of
Tapping.
demonstration of the tapping. So that's going to be really effective. And then maybe it's the copy, maybe it's the way you wrote it. Maybe just take a look at tweaking it to make it maybe more benefit oriented and focus on the problem that people might be having, and then the solution, that like what they're going to walk away with, what benefits. Because a lot of times people get into talking about the process, but what people want to know is what's in it for me. If I show up to this, what am I going to get out of it? So take a look at your copy. And this is, again, something that I help my clients in when we work together, is to take a look at how they're sharing what they do. And it could be also when you're talking to people at church, because you've got a few more weeks before or a week or so before you're going to be doing these workshops, is have conversations with people, ask them questions, and let them know, hey, do you know about my classes that I'm doing? And start asking questions to find out what people are struggling with, and then share again during this class. This is what benefit, what you're going to walk away with. This is the benefit that you're going to experience from being there.
Okay.
So focus on their problem and how this will solve it for them.
I thought I did that. Like, it's geared to support them to realize their goals in all areas of their life, and each class will have a different theme, but maybe it needs to be more specific. Like,
ask a question like, are you
okay.
are you struggling with blah, 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 like whatever the problems are that most people are dealing with, put that in there to get their attention, because you have very limited real estate in that newsletter. So it's got to be super eye grabbing and it's heart grabbing. Like, it's got to get their attention.
Okay.
So just take a look at that. And then when you're at church, just talk to everybody. Just say, I'm so excited, I'm doing this class. And this is, this is what you can expect to walk away with.
Yes.
But get curious and ask questions and find out what they're really struggling with, and then relate the class, the results they'll get, to whatever it is that they're dealing with.
Okay.
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yay. I think, Leanne, do you have a question?
Yeah, thanks, Sahar.
Uh-huh.
Well, at first I took Debbie's follow-up system, which is awesome. So I've been in sales for years thinking, okay, I follow up, but I didn't have the system. So the one reason was to make sure I had it, and then just all the other advice, and we can always learn. And so it was great what Debbie gave. And she touches on this, and where I talk about too is knowing what to say. Like she says, we always wing it. And I think Marjorie is on this a little bit too, but it's all on our message. What is our message? Because when we wing it, we don't start conversations. And if you can't start a conversation at a networking event, whether it's online or in person, it falls flat. Or a lot of times we answer it and we get oh, okay. And then they look, and then they head to the other part of the room.
Exactly.
With you, Debbie, except they didn't even get to the hello, right?
I didn't even get to the hello. So what's your question, Leanne?
Well, it was more, just talking about, to learn and to support you in what you're doing. So it wasn't necessarily a
thank you.
Because I did and I don't recall us talking about, because I'm going to a networking group tonight, but scheduling that on the calendar, that's a good idea. Because I always say I'm going to do that. And as we know, if it's not on our calendar,
it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be so great, because I would walk away from events and all my follow-up was done. I made appointments with everybody I was interested in, and I didn't have to go back and forth. So it's going to save you a lot of time.
Yeah.
And
a lot of time.
Yeah, I know, Joanne, you're a master in teaching what you're teaching. Don't you have an event coming up, or you have something coming up for you?
Yeah, and then on that too, just starting I'm doing a beta courses. I'm testing all of it as well to see if we're on the right line. So just like who was it? Jean has one starting next week. Yes, I have one as well. So it's on confident client attraction.
Oh,
and it's just to really narrow down that message. And so we'll work on that and have fun too. So I have that coming up next week.
Good luck with that, and thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
it looks like Julia and Marjorie have their hands up too. And I also want to make sure we have time, Sarah, to talk about referrals. because that's really, really key. We haven't gotten to that yet. So if we have time, I'd like to do that.
So we're going to take 2 more questions, then we're going to take a break for stretch. I usually do halfway because there's so much information, and then we're going to come back and talk about referrals. We're going to talk about our root chakra as well, and then do the energy clearing towards the end. So let's take 2 quick questions, and then we'll take a break for about 5 minutes or so, come back and continue our conversation. Sounds good? All right, let's go for Rob. You have a question, and then we have Marjorie, and then we have Julia. Julia, if you're okay with that, I'd like to keep you after our break, but let's go ahead with Rob first, and then Marjorie, and Nora, if you don't mind remembering, Julia has a question after we come back from our break. Go ahead, Rob. What is your quick question? And let's get
Well,
to the
actually, it's
question
more
right
of a
away.
comment than a question.
Okay.
But I, as a coach, and I'm not saying this to promote my coaching practice, but
Yeah,
as a
hold on
coach,
1 second. We do need a question because I'd really
Well,
like people to learn from
okay,
these questions, if you don't
okay,
mind.
okay. So my question is, what systems or suggestions do you have for people to determine what their strengths and what their growth opportunities are regarding sales and follow-up and things like that? So what do you suggest for
The
people
assessment,
regarding their mindset?
I was just going to
the
say,
assessment that's exactly what the
Oh, okay,
assessment
good.
is and
Okay,
why
well,
it's
I
so powerful.
haven't taken the assessment, so thank you. That answers
Yeah,
my
that is
question.
exactly it. Because what I did and what you would do if you got the assessment for your own business is you break it down into the categories of the skills that you teach and the areas where people are struggling. So they assess themselves on the different areas. It's very powerful. So yeah, once you take it, you'll see the power of it.
I love it.
Awesome,
Great
thank
question,
you.
Rob. Thank you. All right, let's go to Marjorie, and then we'll take a break. Marjorie, go ahead, sweetheart, with your question.
Yeah, I wanted to unmute first. I thought that would be more effective. Okay, so I really like the idea of questions, and one of the things when I'm networking, I don't, people talk at you, they come up and start spewing their elevator pitch in a monotone and sound like a robocall. So, but I do like to always start with a question about some pain that they might have. And I was just wondering, Debbie, if you think there's kind of a generic kind of a question that's really helpful.
Great question.
So a generic question can you say again, please?
Well, I sometimes ask people, well, have you ever been in a situation where you really wanted to say something, but you weren't sure what to say, and even if you were afraid to say it?
So you're talking about when you're meeting people,
Yeah, when you're meeting people
pre-qualifying
at a
question.
networking event, to open up a conversation.
Well, I don't open up conversations that way because people might think that it's too salesy. So
Okay,
the way I
that's
open
why
up,
I'm asking.
yeah, the way I open up a conversation is as I say hi and I ask about them. What brings you here? What inspired you to show up at this event today? Which will lead them into, well, I just started a new business or whatever. And then, oh, tell me, who do you serve and how do you support them? I don't say, what do you do? Because, that's kind of a boring, I like to ask it in a little different way, but however you want to ask, you want to get them to talk first, right?
Right, generally I do, because it's seek first to understand, then to be understood. But I was just kind of thinking about my question.
Well, so it's not right away though. So you
No,
start
no,
talking
no.
to them
No,
and
that's
then
an attack.
exactly. And so then eventually they'll ask you what you do, or if they haven't asked you and they've been going on and on, you can, the way you can stop them nicely is to say, hey, it's been really wonderful learning about you. Would it be okay if I took a minute and shared with you what I'm up to? And then you'll share about who what you do. And as you know, from my Power Up Your Sales program, which you took whatever, a year or two ago, we talk about how to share
I
what
don't
you
remember
do.
it all.
Well, come on back in. We're doing it next month. You can share very powerfully what you do to get people to lean in, and then you can ask a qualifying question. So what I would ask is, after I've shared a little bit about what I do, I'll just say, hey, I'm just curious, what's your biggest challenge with sales and follow-up? Or where do you, what trips you up the most? when you're following up with people or when you're having a sales conversation. So I'll ask a pre-qualifying question to see if they're struggling with something that I can help them with. But do it a little bit further into the conversation, not right off the bat. Get to know them first, have them speak, have them share, and ask them, what do you've got, what do you've got going on the next 6 months that I could support you in? Or, would you like to, I think, we could be great partners, power partners or JV partners, depending on what level you're at and they're at in their business, and then make the invitation to get together. And then you can start asking those questions, but you want to create the connection, the rapport, the trust first.
Yeah. What I thought, Sahar, what you did at the beginning was wonderful, because you asked everybody to share, why they're here. And I think that's a perfect thing that Jean could do, because you can say, I'm doing this series of courses and I want to make sure I cover everybody's issues. That's what you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it immediately popped into my head, Jean, if you say, well, I want to make sure I'm covering what's important to everybody. And if they know that you're going to be covering what they're complaining about.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, before we
Yes.
break, just don't take the assessment right away. Julia's telling me there's something broken with the link to the authentic conversations. So I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll fix it. So
All right,
just hold
perfect.
off on taking the assessment.
All right.
Thank you,
So,
Julia.
yeah, before we go on a break, I think we need to do a little stretch. Thank you so much, Debbie. I look forward to coming back. You finishing the conversation. We dive right into how to unblock limiting beliefs and about money. And so let's go ahead and stretch. I think stretching is really good. Oh, and anyway, stretch. Turn left, turn right. Oh, maybe your neck. Down, up, right, left. Oh, maybe your back, shoulders.
I once saw a shirt that said, stop kvetching, which means complaining in Yiddish. Stop kvetching and start stretching.
That's a good
Good.
one. All
I
right.
love that. I'm going to steal that one.
I give it to you as a free
who
gift
said
the way
that?
I got it.
Who said
I
that?
love these conversations.
No, it was on a shirt.
All right, everyone, let's go ahead and take a break. I'm just going to put my camera on mute. Debbie will do the same, 5 minutes. We'll come back at 10. Let's do 10:21. Since what time is it now? Yes, 10:21. And we'll dive right back into help with Debbie. And then we'll go right into our energy clearing and unblocking our chakras. Thank you, everyone. See you in 5 minutes. All right, we are back. This is awesome. It is important for us to take a pause. All right, let's come back. We want to make sure that Debbie answers everyone's questions. That's why we have her here. And then we'll dive into the mystic work of making sure that whatever it is that's blocking you, limiting beliefs, we're going to do energy clearing. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do a breakout room. Yay. All right. I think we have one more question for Debbie, and I believe it is Julia, but she's not here. Debbie, while Julia comes here, is there anything that you want to share with everyone before we complete this wonderful interview? Anything that you want to share that is of value to everyone, as always?
Yes, I wanted to talk about the referral piece because that is really, really critical. And someone earlier put in the chat that they were not, I think it was Julia, that she has JV partners, but she's not out there. She is not asking clients for referrals. So I'll talk about the referrals real quick and then we can answer Julia's question. So whenever I speak, I always ask, I'll ask you gals and guys, put in the chat if you consistently ask your clients for referrals, like every single client. Just put in the chat, yes or no. Yes, referrals, no referrals. Okay, most people don't. And I'll just share with you that research shows that when someone is referred to you, the chances of them saying yes to working with you is 300% greater. So if you have 1 out of 20 people saying yes to working with you, it will be, 3 out of, 3 times that, right? And the reason is that there's credibility there. There's instant credibility. It's people, if somebody's referring someone to you and they respect that person, they're going to be a yes, or very much closer to being a yes than if they came out of the clear blue. But we have to have a system in place of how to train our clients what we want them to say when referring people to us, and train them how we want them to give us the referral, to how to make the referral. How many of you have had people say, oh, I love the work you do. I refer people to you all the time. And then you never hear from them, right? Anybody have that happen? Anybody see anybody? Have you heard that from people? Oh, I refer people to you all the time and no one ever calls you. So there's a better way to, and we don't have time to go into all of this now, but I'll be talking more about this on the masterclass next week or in 2 weeks. And so having a referral strategy is going to make your business grow so much more easily with less effort. It's going to be a lot more fun. You're not going to have to work so hard. And your clients love giving you referrals. We just need to know how to ask them and when to ask, and have a system so that it's on your radar. Because what people tell me is they don't they don't ask for referrals because, number one, they don't even think about it. Or if they think about it, they don't want to ask because they feel that they're coming across desperate or needy. Or they say, I don't want to be like pushy. I've already had this person become my client. Now I'm going to ask them for a referral. Like, I can't do that. So these are all stories that we make up that are not true. So having a referral strategy will really catapult your business. It's going to make a huge, huge difference. So Julia, you had a question? Oh, I see. I've asked in the past.
I'm asking a question. I have some questions, but like, first of all, there's things don't work for me. You know this. This is my whole gig. So like sales scripts don't work for me at all. Like never a sales script has ever worked for me in 25 or however long I've been in business. And I've even recently took a class to get a script, that I try using, and it just feels just so off and wrong. And even if millions of other people have used it,
What is your question, sweetheart?
Yeah, so
I want to just comment on that real quick. And this is what I mentioned earlier, is that the scripts that I provide to my clients, they need to rewrite them in their voice, so it's authentic to them. I never want people to take my script and use it word for word, because if it doesn't sound authentic, it's going to be wonky when it comes out. And number two, they're not meant to be read. They're just there as a guideline, right? So my clients have huge success using these scripts because they're customizing it, they're putting it in their voice, and it's keeping them on track. For instance, during a discovery session, I had a client who's also working with Sahar, who's brilliant at what she does, but she was just winging it during her discovery session. And whatever question came up in her mind, she asked, and her conversion was really low. We worked on some questions to ask during the discovery session, and the next week she signed up 2 clients for $7,000 on the call. And she said to me, oh my God, this was so much easier. I'm not winging it anymore. So I hope that helps. Like, they're not meant to be robotic and to be read, because you're right, they don't work. And so maybe the scripts that were given to you weren't in your voice.
Of course, I changed them to my own voice, and of course they weren't robotic.
Oh, good. All right.
I just was wondering if you have other people that are that just can't use sales scripts.
My clients have been fine because we work on them and make it feel good for them. So it hasn't really been an issue. At least no one has told me that in my programs. We work together on them, and it just, again, it's just a roadmap. It doesn't have to be word by word or step by step. It's just so that you're not going off on a tangent and losing your train of thought, right? So it's really meant to be super authentic and to be able to connect with people. If you're not connecting with people using these scripts, then they're not good scripts. So
Well, I guess I just had a quick other question, which is for the referrals thing, do you have a special page on your website or something that they can go to, or how, or is it something
For to go to for what?
for referrals to send people to?
You mean, I'm not
A
sure what you're,
script
you
for
mean this,
You
referrals.
have a special sales page for referrals.
you mean, are you talking about for this referral scripts or to?
If you were to say to somebody, do you have anyone, do you know of anyone, blah, blah. I thought maybe you might have like a page on your website. specific.
Oh, so when I'm asking somebody for a referral, what language I would give them? Is that what you're asking?
Or if you would send them to a page on your website that would make it so that they could easily send it. If not.
Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying. I'm sorry. I understand now. I understand it. So when I'm speaking with like a JV partner or a client or a potential client who for some reason is not going to be working with me, but they love me and they love my work, I will send them an email with my referral language. Remember, I was talking about training them what to say and how to refer people to you. So I send them my referral language so that they can just save it and copy and paste it and add a personal, comment about how much they, love me or whatever they appreciate about me and make it more, personal. So yes, I don't send them, I'll give them my website, but normally I just send them this email. And then the email says, if I thought of you because, and then if you'd like, I can make an email introduction to Debbie, or I can have her call you, let me know what works for you best. So that's how the referrals work in my world. And it works really well to do it that way. You can also include your website link, of course. You're the website queen, so your website's beautiful. So that would be a great thing to do too. I just really have relied on the personal recommendation and the email. And then if they want to check out my website later, I'll give it to them.
All right, thanks.
Great question. Thank you.
All right, that was good. Thank you, everyone. Debbie, do you want to quickly tell them about your class, and then we'll
Yes.
get down to unblocking your money limiting beliefs. Go for it.
Yes. So coming up in a couple weeks, let me give you the exact date and times. Give me a second. I don't want to mess this up. So on April 10th and April 11th, I am doing a free masterclass, and it's all about why you're not getting clients and 3 huge sales mistakes that heart-centered entrepreneurs make. And then I talk about what you can do about it. And so during this masterclass, I'm going to be talking about how to network in a way that builds meaningful connections to grow your business, all without being salesy. So I'll share what I learned from all my networking days, and then how to develop a reliable follow-up system so that clients and income don't slip through the cracks anymore. And then we'll talk more about how to produce a consistent flow of highly qualified and enthusiastic clients who are excited to work with you through the whole referral piece. So it's going to be, I'm going to pour into you guys for a couple hours. I'll be answering questions at the end. So it's a really great training. So Nora put the link right in there. And join, there's 2 different times, on the 10th at 4 p.m. Pacific and on the 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Beautiful. That's awesome. And I do encourage all of you to join. It is absolutely at no cost. That's how generous she is. And you'll learn a little bit more than what she just shared here, and you'll go in deeper. Most likely I will be joining as well. So make sure you send me that link, Debbie, because I'd love to be part of your programs, because I'm constantly learning, always learning and evolving, and in order for us to grow our business. And that's why she does this work. It's about us being safe and elevating our business and monetizing and growing into that so we could serve more people. So thank you, Debbie Hoffman. Woohoo! Let's give her a big
Thank you
applause.
so much. Just one quick thought I want to leave everyone with is that you all have gifts to share with the world. And my mission is to help you share those gifts, get them out in the biggest way possible so you're not the best kept secret, and make the difference you're here to make. And the thing that makes my system so different is it's more heart-centered, more coming from the feminine, more coming from a place of service, so that you can do your business in a way that feels authentic to you, so you don't feel salesy and pushy ever again. It looks like Harriet has a question. Is that for
Yes,
me,
you
Harriet?
have your start time. Oh, yeah, you have your start time. Is it 4 to what? 11 to what?
It'll be 2 hours, 4 to 6 and 12 to 2. Yeah.
All right.
The training part will be, about an hour, hour and a quarter, and then there'll be Q&A I'll stay on for as long as there are questions coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're so welcome, Jean. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Sahar, for having me. This has been super fun.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Always giving, Debbie. And Debbie will stay with us for a little bit. All right, perfect divine timing. So usually the last half an hour to 20 minutes is when we do our energy clearing, is when we look at our blocks, is when we just tune in. I will be doing coaching for some of you independently. I know some of you may have come from a Clubhouse, so you have experienced my work. For those of you who have not, be prepared. Hold on to your seat. So I'm here. And for those of you who work with me, obviously, and this is something that I really, really, truly enjoy doing. And again, I come from a place of service and making sure that you're all good. But before we do that, I would love to, sometimes our mind needs to be educated, right? So right now, I want to share with you when it comes to our energy center, right? The chakras. And I'm not going to go through every single chakra, but just think that there's an energy center within our whole physical body. And these energy centers, when they are blocked, we are not able to navigate on Earth the right way. When it comes to money, there are 2 chakras that we need to look at, our solar plex and then our root chakra. And our root chakra is the one that I'm going to be talking about today, and we're going to be clearing, because our root chakra, it represents first and foremost the color red. It is the closest one to Earth, and it's located at the base of our spine, and it is the first chakra. And again, closest to Earth, and it's responsible for both grounding and survival. So areas of our body that are associated with the root chakra includes feet, bones, and legs. Okay, so if you have any issues with that, just know that there's a blocked root chakra. And the root chakra will connect you to Mother Nature and help dive in. And it drives you to acquire your base survival needs. That's why I love doing immersing with earth work. I invite you often, whether you're a client of mine or whether you are on Clubhouse or every single time. One of the reasons for us to do the grounding or earthing work is to help unblock the root chakra. Mother Earth holds everything that's abundant. And what often I see that for those who are not as connected deeply and don't do earthing, that's where it's blocked. It doesn't cost you anything. You just need to learn the tools. And today I'm going to be sharing with you how to begin to unblock. I'm going to do energy unblocking with me. And then we're going to teach you some tools to help you really ground yourself into earth so you could receive all the abundance that is meant for you, because we all have an infinite field of possibilities. But we're born with a key, and unfortunately, we're unable to find that door to open because of all the blocks that we have. And imagine all these blocks being released by one of the simplest and the non-cost tool of grounding into earth. In fact, I've just launched a new program called Be Nurtured in Nature, a day retreat with Sahar, where I take you on that journey to spend a day with me and to root ourselves into earth, and of course, clear all the energy centers, smudging, clearing, inner child work. I do this whole entire day of just loving on you and supporting you and becoming more aligned with who you are. It's something that I love to do because I do it all the time. I am earthing every single day. I connect to earth 3 times. Yes, you heard me. It is on my calendar, morning, afternoon, and evening. As you can imagine, I give so much of my energy, and so do you. So the first thing that I want to invite you to do is to really make it a ritual to connect and to root yourself into earth, so more abundance and more clearing of what you want will come to you. The root chakra will connect you to Mother Nature and help you drive you to acquire your basic survival needs. So what does that mean? Right? The blockages in our chakra may result into fear, financial hardship, procrastination. It's one of my favorite people that comes and visits all the time, right? The parts of us. It is through the first chakra that we experience our natural sense of self-preservation, food, clothing, shelter, and any human being's most primal need. Now, but if all require money to have them, it all requires money to have them. In our modern area, money is associated with that feeling of security and survival, which are directly emotions, directed to the emotions of the root chakra. All the things that we need here on earth, we need to pay for. And if we don't feel safe or secure, then we block our root chakra. Also, our root chakra affects our health. First chakra ensures, if it is unblocked, that you are safe, that you are well. And naturally, when you trust in that abundance flow, what happens is you naturally feel much better. There's this instinct of natural healing that happens. And I'm not talking about just from the physical, but from the emotional. Raise your hand if you know that there's abundance of money that's constantly coming to you. You do feel more at ease, right? But when you have a blocked root chakra, or first chakra, what happens is this ease of safety, security, uncertainty, just it affects your emotions, it affects your thoughts, it affects your physical body. And I mentioned before that when your business is ready to be taken to that next level, often there is this pause, this plateau, where you feel like you're stepping backwards a little bit. And all of a sudden you feel like emotionally, you feel like clogged up, or even part of your body is physically hurting. I mentioned also earlier that the lower parts of our body are the ones that are the most. And so I'm going to be sharing with you right now what's happening to me. And I'm very vulnerable. I'm going to be very vulnerable and honest. I am taking my business to the next level. I'm revamping my website. I have a newsletter that I'm working on and we've launched. I'm doing these workshops right now online. I'm constantly giving. I've been asked to speak all the time. I'm moving into elevating some of the services. As I'm working with them, with my team, there was a part of me that, remember I shared with you earlier that, oh my gosh, as I'm doing all these activities and all these projects, there's that saboteur that will come up and something will happen to you to sort of stop you. And if you're not aware of it, it will get you. For me, I was on January 22nd, I was having dinner with my brother, and I was walking back from dinner, and he was right behind me, walking back to the car. And I literally, my foot was stuck on there was a crack on the sidewalk, and my foot, I didn't see it because it was dark, and I fell right on my knees. And I ended up going and getting an MRI. Remember I told the lower chakras, right, about safety, security. I ended up hurting my right knee. I don't really share this publicly because I don't like to put negative energy of my physical body out there because there's a lot of envy and there's a lot of, not everybody wants the best for you, right? But I'm sharing it here because it's a safe space. And so when I fell, it turned out that I have torn my meniscus to my right knee. And for a while, it's been painful. And for a while, I kept going, what's going on? Things are really going great in my business and my personal life. I've healed a lot of my family entanglement in the past year. My relationship with everyone in my family is just fantastic. My clients are thriving. Business is going amazing. And yet this thing happened. So I had to go inwards instead of me being the victim of, ouch, I can't walk, it hurts. I've been going to physical therapy. I really went deeper, and I started doing these meditation to figure out, because I couldn't figure out why I fell. And I figured out, of course, the root chakra, which is about safety and security. It's also about elevating and uplifting your business, or up-leveling rather your business, is the cause. So what happened to me is, as I'm growing, that part of me that still doesn't believe that I am worthy, and it doesn't feel safe to take my business to that next level, boom, I went and I fell. And when I found that out, I said, oh my goodness, every single time that my business goes to the next level and I start going back, something will happen to challenge you and to help you grow. And if I wasn't aware of that, I could have easily backed up, and I used my pain in pausing and stopping myself. But instead, I did rest, and I continued to do so, but I kept moving forward regardless of my circumstance, because I am not about to allow this to stop in my way to take my business to that next level so I could continue to help more people. Becoming aware of what's going on in your life and why things happen to you emotionally, mentally, and physically is one of the biggest gifts that I could share with you right now. Become aware of why these things are happening. I move forward and I continue. I slowed down a little bit. I paused a little bit, but I continue to do the work. I showed up here today with a smile on my face. I might be in pain. I show up to Clubhouse. I might be still in little pain, but showing up with care, right? I continue to go and connect with nature, and my knees healing. I continue to ground myself, my root chakra. I continue to connect to my divinity. I don't stop. I do self-care. I pause. I listen to my body when I overdo it. But the thing that I want to share with you, you do not stop. Do not allow anything to stop in your way. And these things happen as a gift. God, the universe, is always going to be testing you to see if you will continue to up-level, to continue to become more aware of these things that are gifted to you. You are aware of them, so you could do the work that you have been trained to do to release them. What I know to be true is my knee will heal. In fact, it is already healed. And all is well in my world. And I say, thank you for the experience, Spirit Guide. I will continue to do the work that I have to do, regardless of whether it is painful or not. And I will continue to serve humanity. And if you stay on the course of trusting and surrendering to what is, everything that you ever need will open up for you. So I just wanted to share that with you, because it is important that you know it's not just about us being successful and doing amazing, but things happen in our world. Thanks to each and every one of you who hung in there with us. I love you. Thank you for your trust. For those of you who are working with me, I will see you on our next session. For those of you who are open to wanting to learn more, I invite you to sign up for a session, and let's dive in deep and see how I could support you even further. Nora, I love you. Thank you so much for your patience and being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Marjorie, Harriet, thank you for your trust. Love seeing you here. Please come back again and again. Of course, Jean and Rob and everyone else. Until we see you again, dear souls, whether it is on Meetup or not Meetup, Clubhouse, or back here. Remember, mark your calendars for May 25th. April, I'll be in Jordan. I might do like Facebook Lives and things like that. I'm not sure I'm going to do this to honor my time and my birthday month. Much love to all. Until we see you again. Bye-bye, dear ones.